All right, happy Father's Day. Usually I don't date stuff, but since today is Father's Day, and I happen to be a father of 8 children, and I love each and every one of them dearly. I know each and every one of them, and each and every one of them knows me. Now, with that all being said, I have been a vicious I have been under a vicious attack by the enemy. And the reason why I say that is because I'm not the type of person that, I'm not a deadbeat dad or anything like that. And, everything that I get, I put it towards my kids. Either they're eating or they're at activities or they're doing something. And the whole time, my ex put me on child support. And I've been arrested, I've been harassed, I've been everything. I've been called all kinds of stuff, but I don't really care. That's not really the point. The point is that we have to change this narrative. I remember I have a set of older children. Now their mom. I have nothing bad to say about her at all. She's a good woman. I messed that up, but either way, the bottom line is that when it comes down to my children, I'm not gonna take second best. I took a charge. I'm a stalker, according to the state of South Carolina. I'm a stalker just because I was trying to stay in my children's lives, and I'm being strictly honest with you. They charged me with stalking. They threw me in jail for 9 months. Placed $35,000 worth of child support on me, did all kinds of stuff. So now, because I can't pay off the $35,000 in child support, like all in one payment or whatever, I'm a deadbeat. But I was giving this woman, almost $1,000 every month. When I didn't have a job, I was doing all kinds of stuff. I was selling whatever I could sell. I wasn't selling drugs. It was illegal. It was a legal commodity that I was selling, just to put it that way. But, and I mean, even when I got out of jail, they gave me food stamps, and I would take all the food stamps and I would buy food for my children. And, my ex used to take it and throw it away. She would throw the food away. I'm talking about meat. I'm not talking about no stuff, no cheap stuff or whatever. I'm talking about meat. And, I don't know what y'all's grocery store prices are like wherever you live or whatever. But, over here, it costs a pretty penny. I'm sure it costs a pretty penny everywhere. So anyway, but I'm just saying the system is corrupt. Like I said, she was getting all the money, but my kids got nothing. My kids got no clothes. When I just recently got one of my sons back, when I got him back, literally he had a plastic bag which fit all of his worldly possessions. A plastic bag, just like when you go through the grocery line at any supermarket. All his worldly possessions were in that one bag, and I don't even know. I don't even know what to say about it. I joined a fathers group when I was in South Carolina, and I went through everything. I went through parenting classes. I mean, I have a law degree, and I have a couple of other degrees, but I'm a degree person. I also have letters behind my name and everything. So all I want to know is like who's determining all of this stuff. And on top of that, so now I'm in the process of trying to pay off this money or whatever. But the bottom line is my kids didn't benefit at all from this system. And that's why I want these ladies to understand. It's like when you do this, especially when you do it to a black man, when you try to do a black man in, then basically what you're a white supremacist. You're helping the cause of white supremacy. That's what you're doing. Because most guys out here that I know or that I've heard about or whatever, they're not bad men. In fact, in my fraternity, I'm an Omega. In my fraternity, we have some of the best fathers that I know. I mean, I know guys that have their offspring doing all kinds of stuff, doing all kinds of things that you wouldn't even think of, in the community. And that's why I get so upset when we fall into this narrative of everybody is either a rapper, a singer or athlete or whatever, and it's like, it's ludicrous. I mean, and I don't want to go into everything, but here's the thing. And then I see these women on there talking about, Happy Father's Day to me because I'm a single parent or whatever. Well, guess what? For a while I was a single parent too. And it wasn't through any fault of my own. It wasn't through anything that I did. It wasn't, I'm not going to say all the circumstances, but the bottom line is most of these people out here that are single or that are raising single kids or whatever, which is one of the biggest blights and plights on the black community, black folks that are of the descendants of slaves are in a very bad predicament because we don't keep our families together. And I'm just as guilty as anybody else, but you got to speak the truth to life. If you don't, then the life will speak to the truth. And because they got a plan for us. That's part of the plan. They put me in jail for 9 months and would not give me a bond. And I'm a lawyer. I understand they wouldn't let me speak. They wouldn't even let me talk. Gave me a public defender, which was a joke. I go to a preliminary hearing. He never says a word. He doesn't say a word, And I'm like, are you going to make a motion to dismiss the charges for lack of evidence or anything? Are you going to make any kind of motion? Are you just going to stand up and just say, Your Honor, you're an ass, or anything? Could you please just say something on my behalf? And the guy didn't say anything. So they bound me over for trial. So then the whole time I was sitting in jail, I noticed that there was a common theme to everything that was going on in jail. The common theme was if you took the plea bargain, they would let you go. If you didn't take the plea bargain, then they would put you in prison. I didn't see anybody that went for a trial that asked for a bench trial or that asked for putting 12 in the box. I didn't see anybody in those predicaments go free. In fact, I saw one guy get life on a 3 strikes law for a TV that they found in the woods. They found somebody's TV in the woods behind his house. He got life. So I was like, well, and then I go up before the judge. The judge asked me, he says, he went, because see, they voir dire you. They ask you a series of questions. And if the judge doesn't think you're guilty, then he'll bound you over for trial anyway. He won't take your plea. So he tells me X, Y, and Z. So I was supposed to get this deal where I was going to get time served, the time that I already served, and then they were going to let me go. Well, when I get in there, he's like, no, and then he starts to voir dire me. Well, are you happy with the job that your lawyer did? And I'm going, and he's asking me these questions that he knows the answer to is no. He knows the answer to every single question that he's asking me is no. And I mean, he knows it. But if I say no, if I say no and I answer no, then guess what? I was going to go to prison. So I'm just saying. So then he still doesn't go for the plea bargain. I go to prison. So I'm trying to figure out exactly why all of this is going down like this. And once again, it's because they were just trying to destroy me. And at that particular time, my father was still alive, so I could have got the money, but, because he would have paid to get me out, but they wouldn't even accept my bond. They said because I didn't own any property in the state of South Carolina. Really? So because I don't own any property in the state of South Carolina, they gave me a bond, which had to be backed by property in the state. All right. So I'm just trying to show you that most of the stuff that goes on is not legitimate, and it's certainly an illegitimate case, especially when it came down. So now, granted that the woman that I used to be married to, that she has never raised one of her children to 18 years of age. And all the rest of them, they left and they came and they moved with me. All right. And so now I have all of the kids with me, but they still are requiring me to pay child support, even though the children live with me. Go figure, right? So if that's not a setup, then what is? And I'm trying to figure out, I'm like, well, what, I'm out here, and y'all know, because every time y'all see me on here, what am I doing? I'm working. Every single time. There's not a lazy bone in my body. I get up at 3:30 in the morning. I work all the way until the sun goes down. So I'm not a lazy man, and I've started businesses. I've done, I've worked for other business owners and all that kind of stuff. And look, from the time that I left one of the radio stations that I worked for, guess what? I never worked for another majority company. I've always worked for the descendants of slaves. And I'm talking about in the entertainment industry and in the radio and television industry. I worked one job, and that was when I was going back to get my law degree. And even then, it was like something that really wasn't, it really wasn't like the type of thing that was making them a lot of money. And the reason why was because I recognized early, I was like, hey, this whole thing, this is a scam, because they don't treat us, unless we acquiesce to the system, unless we are into the system so deep and that we are so committed into the system that they can control us. And if they don't have a control mechanism over you, then they don't like that. And see, that's why they don't like me. They don't like me because I don't work for nobody. I work for myself. Nobody it's like I don't get up and say, oh, I got to do this or I got to do that. No, I get up and I say, I'm doing this because it's going to benefit me and my family. So, and everybody, and I'm not saying that everybody can be like that, but look, stop doing stuff to black men, black women, white women. I don't care what color you are. If you say you love your race, and if you say, if you always talk about what we got, but y'all always trying to, everybody walking around now talking about securing the bag and all that kind of stuff. Do you know that ain't nobody securing no bag? Because if you destroy that black man by putting him on child support, disproportionately, or by trying to get money out of them disproportionately and leaving them so that they're in such a bad state that they can't function. Look, you're cutting off your nose in spite of your face. That's what you're doing, because where you gonna get money from if you destroy every way that he knows how to make money? If you destroy all of that, I even know, girl, even when it comes to criminal activities, I know women, they get with a drug dealer and then turn state's evidence on them and turn them in. Really? Come on. So that's supposed to be great for you. But what does that do? Especially if you got children by that man, you need to make that man so he makes money. Even if you ain't with him, whether you're with him or you're not, whether you hate him or you love him, no matter what, but don't take away his income, because he needs that in order to support you. That's what y'all don't realize. He needs that in order to support you. Where you going to get your money from if you destroy all his income? Oh, I'm gonna do his, but you wasn't saying that when you was laying down. When y'all was laying down, when y'all was doing what they say in the old school, the horizontal boogie, when you was doing that, the old do-de-o-do, everything was cool. But now, all of a sudden, now you got to destroy this man. And that's got to stop in our community, because that's what they want. And they want to have Uncle Sam as the daddy. See, now that Uncle Sam is the daddy, then your kid has no real discipline. Your kid has no direction. They have no mentorship. They have no leadership. That dad is the leader. Happy Father's Day to everybody. All the women that are holding it down, and because there are some dudes. I mean, I'm not saying, I know there's some dudes out here that are lackluster, but most of these guys, they don't fall into that category. Trust me, I was in the fatherhood program for all this time, and there's a bunch of men out there that love their children but don't know how to get to them. So happy Father's Day, and take that all into consideration. I love y'all. I love you.